The more she ignored his advances, the more obsessed he became. He knew he had to change his approach to win her over. This time he decided to be patient, to play the long game. Instead of showering her with attention like before, Chima pulled back. He stopped following her around and barely spoke to her when they crossed paths. It didn't take long for Adana to notice the change. She had expected him to keep trying, but now he seemed distant, almost uninterested. The shift in Chima's behavior worked. After days of watching him from a distance, Adana became curious. She approached him one evening as he sat outside his hut, sharpening his tools. "You've been quiet lately," she remarked, her tone calm but curious. Chima simply nodded, keeping his answers short and his face expressionless. He knew this would draw her in. After a few moments of silence, Chima suggested a walk, and Adana agreed, her guard lowering slightly. As they walked, Chima kept the conversation light, just enough to keep her comfortable. He wanted her to believe that he was a changed man, and that he was more than the charming, attention-seeking womanizer she had assumed. And slowly, it seemed to work. Chima had played his cards right, and now Adana's defenses were lowering. She no longer looked at him with suspicion, and her once guarded responses softened. Chima could sense that the moment he had been waiting for was near. His patience had paid off. One evening, as the sun was setting over the village, Chima decided it was time to act. He invited Adana to his hut, saying they could share a quiet evening together. Adana, now more comfortable around him, agreed. The air was still, and the village seemed almost too quiet as they made their way to his hut on the outskirts of Ukoja. Inside, the flickering light from a small oil lamp cast soft shadows on the walls. Chima offered her a seat and poured her some palm wine, his voice calm and soothing as they talked. Adana sipped the wine slowly, her eyes watching him carefully but no longer with the sharpness of before. Chima smiled inwardly, knowing that the moment was finally his. He moved closer, gently brushing his fingers against her hand, and began to speak in that low, seductive voice he was known for. "Adana," he said softly, "I've been thinking about you. You're different from the others, strong, independent." Adana smiled faintly, still relaxed, but Chima could see the effect his words were having. He leaned in a little closer, his voice now almost a whisper. "Do you know the difference between a man's manhood and a snake?" Adana's brows furrowed slightly, confused by the sudden question. She opened her mouth to respond, but before she could say anything, Chima began to whistle. The sound was soft at first, barely noticeable, but it grew louder, filling the room with an eerie tune.